Hi, I'm Sabrina interviewing Rocio Almanza for STEMblazers. Hi, Rocio.
Hi.
Can you introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Roci Almanza. I was born and raised in Mexico City. I have a master's in media design from New York University, and I have a background in communications and social education. In general, I specialize in initiatives for the youth, and that most of the times includes media and technology for children and their families. And in particular for STEMblazers, I'm the Director of Marketing and Communications.
Could you explain that part a little bit more, please?
Well, I usually wear many hats. I am what Sarah Beth Berg has coined as a hybrid professional. So that is someone who integrates multiple professional identities. So in the case of, in my specific case, those include product management, research. I have been and I am a facilitator, a communicator, a strategist. So those are multiple identities that I have. And I think what brings everything together is my passion for improving the realities of young people and their families. I have 15 years of experience, and I use human-centered design and ethnographic research to maximize the social impact of the projects.
Do you feel that you represent any of the letters in STEM?
Well, it's tricky because some people think that it only counts as STEM if you have a clear path, right? Like if you are a mathematician, or if you are a computer scientist, or if you are an engineer. And I think in those cases it's very clear, like, yes, of course, I represent one of the letters of STEM. But I think in my case, as a hybrid professional, I consider myself a woman in technology, just because, like I said before, often the solutions that I come up with, that I propose to organizations and people, are based in tech. So I follow the line from start to finish of a piece of technology that is going to bring some improvement of the lives of children and families. So I would say I represented T in tech.
Yes. And so what brought you to STEMblazers?
So my good friend, who is also a superhuman, Michelle Lim, she used to be the director of programs for Girls in STEM. That was her previous name. And she knew about my experience in marketing for TV shows and movies. And at that time, I was on maternity leave, and she invited me to create campaigns for the organization. And she said, oh, it's just going to be something very small. And then little by little, we actually shaped a department of marketing and communications that actually supports a lot of the work that the organization does. And I think what has kept me in STEMblazers, what has made me believe more in this organization, is a seemingly random story that I want to tell that actually embodies the values of the organization. So on my second meeting with our CEO, Wendy Merchant, I had to bring my 6-month-old baby, who is very cute, but she is a baby. So I told Wendy, like, oh, you know what, like I have to bring my baby. I don't have any other choice. And she was so great about it. And she's very, very supportive about our personal lives. Like, just the fact that she acknowledges that we have lives outside of work, I think that's very important. Like I said, it seems like something small, but it's actually no, because it is actually not. Because if we say we want to keep women in the workforce, but then we don't support them. And one of the things that women need the most support with is when we become mothers, right? It's like, well, sometimes my baby is going to be sick, or sometimes the nanny is going to be sick, and I don't have anyone to live her with. And if you have someone supportive that tells you, like, oh, no problem, we can have a meeting and the baby can be here, and they are not only like, they don't only accept the fact that you have a baby, but they actually encourage you to have alive. So I think that is a main thing that has kept me here. It's very valuable for me, and I think in general for women. It's a good example of what companies can be.
Oh, that's really good. And what have been your favorite projects with STEMblazers?
I've had several very cool projects that I've been part of, but I'm going to talk about one of the most recent, and just because it was great and it was huge, and it makes me very happy. So the rebranding of STEMblazers. So before we used to be Girls in STEM, now we are STEMblazers, and I led the efforts for that change to happen. It was a huge effort and required the use of many of my skills, and it just makes me proud every day. Like every day that I see the logo, every day that I see one of our stickers, or I see, even working, I'm working and I see the logo, and it just makes me happy, and I hear how welcoming the community has been. I just feel very proud about that. And now maybe I should tell a little bit about Sabrina. Sabrina is the graphic designer behind our brand, and she has been great. She has collaborated with us many times, but this was the first time that we actually took on a big project that was so important, because changing the name of an organization, and a well-established organization, is tough. And I think she was able just to translate, like, when we gave her the brief, she just took it, and made it real. And you always think like, oh my God, once we have the first proposal, how many changes we're going to have to do. And it was actually a matter of like, oh, okay, we have the logo, this is exactly what we wanted. And okay, now like we just have to get to work. So it was a very, I knew about your talents, but I think it was the first time that I was like, oh my God, this, like, you read our minds and everything is perfect. So yeah, thank you.
And can you guide us a little bit more through the whole like rebranding process on your side? Like, how was it?
Yeah, so STEMblazers, Girls in STEM, has been going for the past months. I don't remember how many months, but probably a year of strategic transformation. And after, like, part of that process is that we came up with a very what we call audacious goal. So our goal is to reach 1 million girls and influence them to enter STEM careers. So with that goal in mind, we needed a brand that was in tune with that huge goal, because that is not a small goal. So we needed our brand to stand out from other programs or other initiatives out there. Being a small nonprofit, there were constraints such as time and resources that we needed to consider, but we were really inspired. We are always inspired by the girls that we serve and their families, and we also had the energy and we were inspired to do it. So, I think that's a big, is like fuel for your projects. Like, okay, we don't have maybe a huge staff, and we have to figure things out very, very quickly, but because you really have a cause that you believe in, you kind of get the energy from somewhere. So the first thing we did, we involved a lot of people from the community. We chatted with a lot of organizations, with a lot of people, to be more efficient and just to see what the community was thinking about this process. And of course, we got very valuable information from several individuals, and we were trying to, like, maybe let's put together a team and let's do this, let's do that. So in the end, we decided, like, I think that's another great thing about the leadership team, is that since day one, they have trusted me, and they told me, like, we like, we're in your hands. If you say that this is the way we should go, let's just do it. So that's when I said, you know what, I work well with one designer, and that's my sister. So I would prefer to have her in my team, just because we have those time constraints. And I know that she's good and she has been awarded and she's talented. So why don't we do that? And I'll just communicate with her much easier than with an agency or with someone that actually doesn't know much about our brand. So we did that, but at the same time we were working with the girls. So we followed the human design process, and we had discovery sessions with the girls. And then every time we accomplished one step, we would go back to the girls and we would go back to the stakeholders and see, like, are we on the right track? And that was very, very beneficial, because we heard from the girls, like, oh, we don't like this. We don't like to be taught this way. We like this and this. So it was not by chance that we could do something in very high quality. It was just a process. It was just a very, very fast process. But we actually, we followed a cycle. And then once we had our beautiful logo, it was just a matter of working nonstop until our deadline, our fundraising event on August 1st. So we have our golf tournament every year where companies can sign in, and it's a huge event, and we have so many guests. So we really wanted to show off. And I think we accomplished that. Like, everything was rebranded. We launched that day. We had obviously like videos and all those things, and we had very good feedback. So it was a very nice, we went on a loop, like, okay, now that we're done with that, we're just back in track to organize our event. So the branding was only, I wouldn't say a small part, but like a medium part of all the work that we do, but it was very meaningful.
Oh, that's good. Well, thank you, Rocio, for your time.
Thank you for interviewing me, and thank you for creating our new brand, STEMblazers.
Oh, you're welcome. And could you tell us about your upcoming events? I heard something about a mocktail. That sounds good.
Oh, yeah. So every year we have a very cool event for women and girls. So it's very cool because we pair high school women and college women with professionals in STEM. So they have the opportunity, the girls have the opportunity to interact and do networking. And of course, we create the activities so that happens. So it's not just like, okay, here you are, there's a place where you just network. It's like we actually guide them to do that. And it's always very fun. We always have a theme, and this year's theme is trailblazing women in STEM. So we're going to have an amazing speaker. She is in the Colorado Women's Hall of Fame. And we're going to have also portraits of women that they can read about. And we're going to have activities. We have mocktails, we have food. And it's at Galvanize in the Golden Triangle here in Denver. And I think it's going to be just a fun event. And the cool thing is that this year, if you're a professional woman, you have the opportunity to sponsor a girl to come to the event. So it's also kind of a matter of like, oh, I want to be here because I want to interact with my peers, but I also want to provide this experience for other girls. So they have the opportunity to be here with me as well. So we think that's going to be very cool. That's happening October 25th. At 6 p.m. So you just have to go to STEMblazers.org/mocktail and register there, and that's it. It's very easy and simple, and we hope to see you there if you can be here for the event as well.
Great. Well, thank you, Rocio, for your time.
Thank you.
Really nice talking to you.
To you too.